Welcome back to In Focus with Bokra, where we are today discussing issues that are mostly concerning the public complaints on consumer issues or consumer issues on the telecommunication complaints or telecommunication related matters, picking different topics. So Mr. Nyelesi, I want us to now look at mobile money transactions because we have a lot of discussions happening around that place, specifically the ones that are even not successful, the transactions that have been unsuccessful. And mostly the complaint is that it takes long to reimburse the sender the money or the funds. Are you aware of that matter, and how do you assist, and why does that happen?
Yes, we are aware that sometimes people say I had sent someone money and that money didn't arrive, some for one reason or the other, but then it takes forever for the money to be credited back to me. Let me explain to the viewers that regulation of electronic money transactions or mobile money transactions is actually a shared responsibility. It's a responsibility of both Botswana Communications Regulatory Authority. It's also a responsibility of Bank of Botswana. Now, Botswana Communications Regulatory Authority is only involved because it regulates the mobile operators that provide the platform on which the service is run. But remember, we are talking about money issues here, and it is Bank of Botswana that is better placed to regulate money issues. Now, what happens is when I try and send you money using a mobile money platform, and somehow, a system fails, or the money doesn't arrive, or disappears somewhere in the system, it is Bank of Botswana rules that then take over to try and locate what has happened with that particular transaction. So these Bank of Botswana rules regulating the movement of money are always obviously designed to safeguard that there is no abuse, because mobile money transactions, if they are not properly policed, they could be used as a leeway for money laundering, for instance, and other crimes involving money. So the reason why it takes a bit of time to refund is that the regulations responsible for regulation or for regulation of transactions or money transactions have to kick in, and they have to satisfy themselves that indeed the money has not arrived because of the system, or whether indeed this money was not claimed by somebody else somewhere along the way. So that is why it takes a bit of time. And we know that this negates the speed at which the consumers are used to mobile service, because they are used to real-time conversations, and therefore they expect their money to arrive at the speed at which they converse over the telephone. However, they should understand that the slowness is actually meant to safeguard and to ensure that this platform is not abused by criminals.
Thank you. Still on the mobile money network, I would like to appreciate, you indicated that Bokra actually looks at the system part of it, or the network part of the transaction in terms of regulation. So I would like us to look at the fraud that is happening with all these money transactions, whereby someone says that money has been stolen from that account. Where does Bokra come in? Is that not speaking to the security or lack thereof of the networks? Are these networks secure such that we can be able and to be confident enough to be transacting our hard-earned money on these networks?
We live in an era, in a digital era, as they call it, and this era is also characterized by cyber crime. There are a lot of criminals out in the cyberspace that are always prying on those that are not vigilant in the way they do their transactions. It is therefore important that proper or due diligence is taken when you deal on the digital space. There are two elements involved in the question that you're asking. First is the network itself. Yes, the network itself may have its own vulnerabilities, but the networks are constantly checked, are constantly upgraded, are constantly patched, and they put in all the technical requirements to ensure that they are secure. However, it doesn't mean that they will be 100% secure. Occasionally, there may be a loophole which criminals can exploit. But the biggest loophole is with the users themselves. As they say, 98% of all the loopholes that are to do with cybersecurity are back to the individuals using the system. So it is important that we continue as Bokra to educate consumers that you have to be extra vigilant. It is not always the case that when something fails, it is because of the system. Oftentimes, it is because the person who was using that system has not taken due care to avoid some of the easy loopholes.
Yeah, these are very interesting issues that are on the public domain, that are continuously being discussed. So I hope that we will be able to revisit, or somebody should be able to take responsibility to do a lot more education from the regulator's perspective, as well as the operators themselves, in order to ensure that the clients or the users are more secure, are more educated, and are more empowered on these services that they're using. That was Mr. Aaron Nyelesi, Director Broadcasting and Corporate Communications on In Focus with Bokra. Have a good night.